What's up, everybody? I'm Mark. Welcome to Better at Beach. Today we're going to talk about overhand digging. We had a question in our Volley Chat Facebook group, which we're going to link below. If you want to join it, go ahead. You can ask questions and maybe get your question answered on one of our episodes. But we had a question in that group from Tanya who said, I really want to work on my overhand digging. I feel like I'm just not getting digs when the ball comes up top. So we wanted to make a video just for you, Tanya. Before we give you a few drills, we want to show you some of the most common errors that people make that lose them points when they're trying to get some overhand digs. Okay. When you're digging an overhand ball and it's soft up top, or you just can't find the time to get your platform on the ball, then we switch to a tomahawk. If we have our good passing position, the tomahawk is pretty easy because our fingers are perpendicular, our thumbs are parallel. All you have to do without changing your grip is flip it over to the other side. Since you're already grabbing your fingers for your hands and your platform, once you flip it upside down, you should still be locked on and holding on. That way, you don't have any separation. So one of the biggest mistakes we see is that people don't put the lock onto their platform when they're using a tomahawk and their hands start to separate. So first common mistake is hands falling apart during tomahawk. There's another common error, the two-handed slappy. People try to dig overhand like this instead of getting a solid platform and using the karate chop parts of their hands. So if you're somebody who once the ball comes up, you try to avoid using your fingers and you go for a two-handed slap, we want to change that to a tomahawk whenever possible. Now, that being said, when the ball goes outside me and it's hard driven over here, I'm going to need to create these angles out here because I can't really get a tomahawk out there and I'm still able to use my fingers since it's hard driven. So when you go outside your body, yes, you're going to shape your angles of your hands back into the court wherever they need to go. But if it's hard driven right here, you're going to use your fingers in a ball shape, or if it's soft and it's right around your head, you're going to use your tomahawk. No two-handed slappy panda hand. Here's another mistake we see when overhand digging. If you watched our 7 Deadly Sins of Hand Setting video, you know that we made fun of balloon catchers, people who extend their hands out when the ball is coming to them. So when we're playing defense, we need to have our springs loaded and we need to catch the ball in this position by our head so that you have force enough to shoot the ball up and into the court. Because remember that your setter has to get to the ball, so just touching it and pushing it forward isn't going to help you if your setter can't get there. What you want to do is wait for the ball here, line your body up behind it, and be patient enough to let the ball get a little bit closer to your face so that you can shoot the ball up. We don't want to extend too early because then you run out of power to get the ball up high enough for your setter. Another error that we see when digging hard-driven balls, even if people are great with using their fingers and their hands, is that we all have this natural instinct to protect our face, our head, and our brain. So when somebody hits high, our body wants to start moving our face away from that. It's a protective instinct, okay? But what happens once you do that is your arms follow the motion of your upper body. So when you're trying to create time and you're bringing your hands up, your hands are going backwards and facing backwards, and what happens is the ball deflects backwards. We have to override that instinct to protect your face by moving away, and you have to keep your head and shoulders forward when digging this overhand ball so that you can move forward at the ball with power, because we want it to be a forward and up move and not a backwards lean that's going to send the ball off of the back of the court. The last and most common mistake that we see when overhand digging is kind of just a complete repositioning of our hands and fingers from the platform. Now, you can argue this, but we've seen well beyond thousands and thousands of points and athletes, and we've seen so many points die when using this technique, this finger cross technique, where players end up hitting their fingers and the ball is bouncing too weak to actually get up. When you use this technique, this open flat hand technique, yeah, it's gonna bounce off the middle of your hand and it's gonna be flat. You're not gonna get called for a double, so that's safe. But are you gonna have enough power from the middle of your hand or even the top of your hand to be able to get the ball high enough for your partner? What we see is that when people do this, the ball hits here, but it doesn't bounce into the air like it does when we use the tomahawk. So if we don't close this up and involve the karate chop parts of our hands, then the ball just dies. It doesn't get high enough for our setter, and you lose the point even though you didn't get called for a double. Your setter can't get there. So instead of opening your hands and keeping them wide and only using the flat of your hand, even though you might feel it's more controlled, you're going to lose a lot of points when the ball goes off of your fingers and when your setter just can't get there. So we like to tell our players to get their tomahawk, the karate chop part of your hand, involved with this play so that the ball bounces sky high and our setter has plenty of time to get there and deliver the sauce. So now that we've gone through some of the most common mistakes and some of the easy fixes, we're gonna go through a couple of drills that you can do either alone at home or with a partner. Some of these drills you'll need a court for, but most of them, and most of the ones that we have at betteratbeach.com, you can do alone and you can fix things by yourself if you don't have friends and nobody likes you. At least you'll be good at volleyball. We hope you enjoyed this video. If you want to dive deeper, we've got over 200 videos on this YouTube channel waiting for you. So make sure you go ahead, you like, subscribe, and throw in a comment if you want to see a video answering your question. If you want to get involved in the conversation, come on over to Volley Chat, Get Better at Beach on Facebook. You can see that link below. If you ever want to join any of our live courses, we've got them at betteratbeach.com too. Make sure that you sign up for our free drill book so that we get your email address and we can let you know when we're running our next live course.